Samsung Electronics has launched a new foldable phone and several new 5G devices. Samsung announced the telephone and other products during an event Tuesday in San Francisco, California. The new phone is called the Galaxy Z Flip. It goes on sale February 14th and has a starting price of $1,380. When open, the Galaxy Z Flip is similar in shape and size to most smartphones. When closed, the phone collapses down to half its size in the shape of a square. The Galaxy Z Flip is the company's second foldable phone. Samsung launched its first model, the Galaxy Fold, last year. That phone closes up over the middle and opens up to the size of a small tablet. Technology critics have noted design problems with the Galaxy Fold, which also experienced delays in production. There were also reports that screens on some of the first folds began breaking after just a few days of use. Samsung says the Z Flip's screen is made of a glass-like material. The Galaxy Fold device had a plastic screen. When the Z Flip is closed, users can still see the time, take selfies, and be notified of messages. It can be set up in different positions for taking pictures, watching videos, or typing. Rebecca Hurst is a marketing director at Samsung Electronics. She said at the launch event that the new phone marks a giant step forward for the company. We're changing the shape of the future with the Galaxy Z Flip. This is no ordinary smartphone. It changes everything, Hurst said. Last year, China's Huawei launched a foldable smartphone called the Mate X. And Motorola recently began selling its own flip phone model called the Razr. The device sells for $1,499. The foldable phones represent an attempt by manufacturers to energize a market where sales have slowed. Many people are holding on to their old phones longer, in part because new phones can be costly. In addition, critics say the new products do not necessarily offer major upgrades in performance. Technology experts say since the new foldable models are pricey, they are likely to appeal only to a limited market. Paolo Pescatore studies the mobile phone market for PP Foresight. He told the Associated Press that while there has been a lot of excitement around foldable phones, the devices are likely to go through many changes in coming years. At its product event this week, Samsung also announced 3 new versions of its Galaxy S smartphone line. The phones include the S20, S20 Plus, and S20 Ultra. All the S20s promise upgraded cameras and will connect to wireless 5G. 5G is the next generation of wireless technology. It promises much higher internet speeds. The S20 phones will go on sale in the United States on March 6th, with prices from $1,000 to $1,400. Samsung was the top smartphone company in the world last year. But Apple took the #1 position in the December quarter, the research service IDC reported. Apple's rise came after a drop in pricing for the iPhone 11 helped the company enjoy its best growth since 2015. Samsung and Apple also face strong competition from Huawei, which finished a close third in market share in the final 3 months of 2019. I'm Brian Lynn.
The Democratic Party has a new leading candidate to challenge President Donald Trump for the White House this November. Senator Bernie Sanders won the party's primary contest on Tuesday in the U.S. state of New Hampshire. One of the top 2 winners of the New Hampshire primary usually goes on to become the Democratic candidate for president. Sanders also had a strong finish last week in the state of Iowa. But some moderates in the party are not happy with Sanders' left-leaning views. They are looking for another candidate to hold Sanders back. In New Hampshire, former Mayor Pete Buttigieg at first seemed to be the favorite to win, but he ended up splitting the moderate vote with Senator Amy Klobuchar, leaving Sanders in front. Former Vice President Joe Biden fell behind badly in both New Hampshire and Iowa. He is the only moderate with strong backing from African American and Latino voters. He has promised to fight on at least until the end of February. At that time, some states with large groups of non-white voters will hold primaries. All the candidates are also getting ready for another face. Former Mayor Michael Bloomberg did not compete in Iowa and New Hampshire, but he will be on the ballot in a number of large states in March. Bloomberg is a billionaire who is paying for his own campaign. These early primaries show that the battle for the Democratic nomination could go on for weeks or even months, observers say. Whoever pulls ahead as the moderate candidate could become very important to the election. At the end of Tuesday night's primary in New Hampshire, the total votes for moderates Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Biden were 53%. The 2 more liberal candidates, Sanders and Senator Elizabeth Warren, received a combined 35%. Many believe this is a sign that most Democrats prefer a moderate candidate that could get more votes in the general election. While Sanders got less than 30% of the vote in New Hampshire on Tuesday, his thin victory has given him momentum. Democratic Congressman Mark Pocan from Wisconsin is a Sanders supporter and the co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. He believes the party will back Sanders if he keeps winning and proves that his message is popular with voters. I think everyone understands that he's got a message that is appealing to a lot of people, said Pocan. Sanders has focused on turning out non-white voters, young voters, and new voters. He has a strong chance to win on February 22nd in Nevada. Biden is still hoping that South Carolina's large African American population will return him to the front of the race. I'm Kelly Jean Kelly.
Thousands of African students in China are watching as the coronavirus continues to spread. They are hoping that their governments will get them out of China soon. Solomon Yohannes of Ethiopia is a third-year engineering student at Wuchang Technology University in Wuhan, the center of the outbreak. As he sat in a room at the school, he said almost all of Wuchang's 15,000 students have left, but about 200 foreigners, most of them from Africa, remain. We are counting on the next 2 to 3 days for some solution, Johannes told VOA's Afan Oromo service. Until then, he and others will not leave their buildings. He explained that when going out, people have to wear masks and other protective devices to guard against infection. Another student at Wuchang called on the Ethiopian government to take action. We want the government to take us out of the country, as every other government is doing, he told VOA's Amharic service. The student noted that the United States and India took many of their citizens out of China. We also want to tell the government to at least take us out of the city where the crisis is right now, he added. There are about 61,000 Africans studying in China. Many now face food shortages, isolation, and questions about the future. Last week, tests showed that a 21-year-old student from Cameroon had the coronavirus. He was studying in Jingzhou, a city about 230 kilometers from Wuhan. He is the first African student reported to be infected with the virus. Hermes Kundu is from the Central African Republic. He is a third-year engineering student at Nanking University, about 530 kilometers east of Wuhan. He said students there are careful about being with other people. We buy food online, you see, and we cook inside our rooms because it is not easy to get to the common kitchen over there, as many people are there cooking, Kundu told VOA's French to Africa service. And you never know, you could be in contact there with a student already infected with the coronavirus. So we stay in our rooms. Anthony Waigwa of Kenya is at the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences in Wuhan. He is working toward a Doctor of Philosophy, the highest degree offered at the university. Waigwa said that he and other students have been offered masks, free Wi-Fi, and a telephone hotline for information about the virus. The situation is tense. We're just afraid of contracting the disease, Waigwa told VOA's Swahili service. He said the students are trying to stay safe by not leaving the school's grounds. The Ethiopian ambassador to China, Teshome Toga Shanaka, said his country's embassy is closely watching the situation. He added there are about 100 Ethiopian students in Wuhan City and about 300 in Hubei province. He said the embassy is in contact with student groups, but said both the government of China and the World Health Organization have advised against fleeing the area right now. This is a very serious matter, the ambassador told VOA's Amharic service. We are very much concerned, of course, about the situation. But we also have confidence in the prevention and control measures the government of China is taking. He added that several different agencies need to work together to organize student evacuations. He said many African embassies are in touch with one another and ready to act if needed. I'm Jill Robbins.